Hello everybody, Thorgal here, and welcome back to another episode of Crimson Skies. I have updated to 1.1.0.3, and was just a couple of quest book updates, I believe, and I think mechanism tools has been removed from the pack, and possibly a couple other things that I don't know about, and I was just looking at some of the quests here that are now available. In the making metals, there's a quest that was added right here, smelting with starlight, which you misspelled pixel. It's smelting. It's supposed to be smelting. Well, we got to turn in a lens and a colored lens, which we have over here. So I thought we'll get started with that real quick. I think it's just break it like that. Like that. And the quest should complete in a second. There we go. And then we can put it back down. And we just have to link it back up. And you guys see I have a lot of stuff prepared for today. Because today I think... Oh, it's already linked. Oh, no, my bad. I need to link this to that. I think I need to do that. I'm not sure if when it's just facing that way, if it still works. And there we go. It's back in action. So that one doesn't give us a reward. And then, oh, there's another one. What do you want? Aha, so there's a breaking lens as well. Well, I don't want to do anything of that because we have a lot of automation to do today. Oh yeah, and I completed this quest as well. I made a beealizer. Let me just show you guys how I made that. And then we're going to talk about the bees for just a second. But we're not going to do anything with that. Right there. This is how you make the beealizer. This is tin, glass panes, and then this needs 2 buckets of water. And I've also been... No, centrifuge. There we go. Cooking down some of the honeycombs because I needed honey drop for that quest as well. And of course, in order to use it, I also need the honey drops. So that's the thing right there. My scoop is run out because I made so many meadows hives. You guys see here, these are all ignoble. Every one of them. I cannot get my hands on a pristine one. And I don't have a pristine forestry anymore either. The only pristine we ever got was the first forestry one, right? So this has been going forever, and that's why we have so many drones here and also lots of honeycomb. And I just put in another ignoble over here. This area is chunk loaded, so it keeps going. But I think this is the third one. Yes, this is the third ignoble. Princess I put in here because after a while ignoble die out, right? And this is just so I can analyze these bees. And then it gives me information here. For example, this one right here is one that I bred. I took a Meadows Princess without checking. It was an ignoble, unfortunately. And put it with a forestry drone. And then that made me a Meadows Forest hybrid first. And then I put it back in, and then I got a cultivated Meadows. I was actually after the common Princess. So I jumped straight to cultivated. So maybe some things have changed in forestry when it comes to bee breeding. So I'm going to have to look more into that, how that works now, and why the chance to get a pristine is so low. I have no idea. But anyway, so that's all the time I want to spend here. Over here, you guys see I planted a 2x2 jungle tree. And that is only so I can shear, right there, the vines off of it, okay? And I actually climbed up there and put a light up in here because there was possibly one spot up there that mobs could spawn, so it's safe. Because right here, I got everything ready for 8 of these block dispensers that we're going to need today. And I needed the vines for this moss stone. Excuse me. Because cobble and a vine makes you a moss stone. There's some other ways as well, but this is the easiest to me. And I've been making a ton of netherrack. Actually, I think there's a stack back here that I want to toss in there real quick. Yes. So this is just going because in case I need more pistons and whatnot, I need to keep making the soul urns. Yep, right there. Let's put this here. And for right now, I'm going to take off the magnet just because I'm in the area. So I don't suck it up. Anyway, let's go ahead and make 8 of these. Cool. We got these. I don't know if this is later on maybe a quest or something. So, actually I can put it back on just in case. If I suck something else up. So, I made 1 observer. I think I need about 20 redstone repeaters, but I made 22. I need 9 sticky pistons. I need a couple torches, tons of redstone for the trails. We need 8 of these iron rods. We had one, so I made 7 more of these. And I made too many filters, which is fine. It's not that bad because I need these transfer filters, and I made these first before checking how many you get, and I only need 8 of these, and it makes them in a set of 4. So we have 6 more filters, so maybe eventually they come in handy. I made another floating hopper hawk. Crates. I need some obsidian. And this marble right here, I made with the chisel from the Astro Sorcery marble. I just want something, a different block to run redstone on, right? So I made the marble right here, and then just chiseled the stack over. So, and of course, I made this platform right here because we're gonna have to set this up. So I didn't even tell you what we're gonna set up. I want to automate this process over here, 100%. This right here. Placing the blocks and then figuring out when do they have changed and then breaking them and then placing it again. So I can, for example, just put in a stack of clay, a stack of sand, and then, you know, after a few minutes I have a stack of clay. And by the way, I wanted to show you guys this. Pixel changed the transmute rate. So see how fast the clay turned, which is really cool. I'm very happy about this change. But then again, we don't just need it for that. We need it for a lot of other things as well. So, let's get going. I think I'm going to put it into this corner, so it's a little bit further away from my main area where I spend most of my time, right? Because this is going to make a little bit of noise with a piston. Oh, actually 9 pistons. And then the block breaker and so on, right? So there's going to be a lot of stuff happening. The first thing we're going to have to do is I'm going to leave myself one room, so there's going to be a ring of 8 with the thing in the middle. But I'm going to have to have the magnet on now. Yes, okay. Let's go ahead and break this ring out first, because the very bottom of this I want to build out of obsidian, because above all of this there is going to be pistons. And in my test world, it is possible that the timing can be wrong, okay? Now, that is only for blocks that transform very quickly. For example, when you put smooth stone in here, this machine here I have not been able to use to make the marble out of smooth stone, right? But that is not something I probably need very much more done, right? I don't think I need that many more times. Excuse me. So there's pistons on top that are pushing down to break the blocks, and if this gets out of whack, and it can happen that it pushes it while the block is being placed if it's too fast. And that's what happened to me, and because we have cables down here, we don't want them to be pushed out of alignment, okay? So, again, I just put this obsidian here that cannot be moved, so if something goes wrong, we should be fine. So, we're gonna have to have some cables down here with the 8 whoa, how does this work? Okay, so let's do it the other way. I think that will work. So on top of this is gonna be the 8 block dispensers. That's what we want up here. Let's go ahead and let me get up here. Maybe I can place it. No, of course not. Why are you going to be difficult? There we go. All right. And now I should be able to place them downwards. Okay, good. Just like that. And these are going to place the blocks, obviously. And we're going to take this out, and we're going to place a torch in the middle here just in case. All right. We'll get back up here in a second. And I decided that this is the lowest point. So this is going to be a little bit taller here, but I think that's fine. And then we're going to place every one of these. Did I just see a spider? No, I'm not sure what I saw. Right there. And the point of having these transfer filters is so I can make sure I think it was this golem here that just shot me. Okay, is that I can set them to single item. So once we set up the input for the system, it will always just put one of each in there. Because what if I want to have 16 items, right, that I want to transform? I want to have 2 stacks, or 2 times 8. But I could have it all in one, but the reason being why I need to have one in each is because at one of these, I don't know which corner yet, we're going to have the observer. And that one is the one that finds out, hey, something has been placed, something changed, something has been broken, and so on. So I need to make sure that that one spot is always has a block, right? So I can always just put in things by a multiplier of 8 into this machine. If I do less, then it's possible that the corner that actually triggers the transmutation, or it shouldn't say the triggering, notices the transmutation comes out of whack, right? Okay. So above this right here is going to be the actual block that is going to be transformed. These guys here dispense that. Let's say this is sand, okay? Then on top of that, we're going to need the iron rod. We need to place these. And on top of that, we're going to need the piston that pushes the iron rods down. And if I remember correctly, let's see, where was this? Right here. He actually changed it. This used to say an iron spike. And I actually had to ask him because I tried in a single player, you pushing with the sticky piston, the iron spike, and nothing happened. And so that was the whole reason why we needed to make... Wait a second, do we not... We just need to make a refined hacksaw now. I remember this being different. Like, we needed to make a sticky piston and the iron rod. I think that changed here when we did it. Anyways, so block, rod, piston. So I'm gonna have to have a block up here for me to place the piston against. Let's come down here. I should be able to place it. You guys see this gets quite tall now. Ah, this is never gonna place the right way, is it? It is. Wow, a miracle. I don't like placing pistons. They never place the way I want them to. Alright, there we go. And then we can place our ring of 8 pistons around here. And then we'll put the iron rods on here. So when this gets triggered and these iron rods get pushed down into the block, that breaks it. Alright, so now we have the main system done, right? And now we just have to wire it all up to the redstone and get all that worked out. And before we do that, I think we're gonna set up the input first. So this right here is gonna be the crate that I want to have everything in, and we'll place our node right there. And I wanted this to be the shortest possible distance, right? Because the problem is that this node doesn't have a speed upgrade, and some things like the sand turning into clay is gonna happen quite fast. So as soon as it places it, I need these 8 to be filled as fast as possible. Once we have speed upgrades, we're gonna put those instantly in there as soon as we can make them. So we get it out right there, and then I think we're gonna set up another crate. Not really sure where we're gonna set that up yet. There's gonna be... Let's put it one away, right here. And this is where we're gonna put our floating hopper hawk, okay? So once these items get broken, this guy's gonna pick it up. So this is input and this is output. Okay, now I think we're gonna get started with the easy part of the redstone. And that is right up here. We're gonna need a ring of blocks around this. That is what these marbles are for. And on top of that, there's going to be a redstone trail that triggers these pistons. And in order to make sure that we always do it right, I'm going to have to get me a lever or a button. Do I have either of those? I do. Perfect. So we can test each part here independently first. And get back up here. That's the big difference, is that when you build something like this in creative mode, it's very easy because you can fly. Okay, so where is it? There it is. I guess I could have used the redstone torches as well. Okay, so they all 8 extend and then they come back down. Or, yeah, they pull back up. So this part right here works. I don't think I need to get up there again, at least not right now. So that is that, and then we need the same spiel for these block dispensers. But before we do that, I wanted to show you guys something that it cost me a little bit. No, it didn't cost me a headache, but it just was a little bit hard to figure out, right? And that is the block dispenser is not just dispensing it, okay? So when you give it a redstone signal, it places a block. But when you take the redstone signal away, it sucks the block back up. Okay, so I cannot just pulse this. And that was a little bit of a tricky part for me to figure out how I did that, but I'll show you guys in a second how I fixed that. Let me just place this ring around here, and I am gonna be able to walk on it. Good. I was worried that I don't have room. If I can make the jump, there we go. Oh, we cannot walk through these. Okay. And this is the same spiel here. We're gonna just place this around. So once I pretty much want them to be powered, okay? So when they can, they will dispense a block and it will sit on top of here. And then when it's broken, I need to send this a signal to turn the redstone signal off for a split second and then back on, so it places the next blocks. So in order to keep this here always lit up, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a redstone torch up here, just like that. So that is always triggered, and I'm gonna take this one off for now. And by the way, don't forget, you guys see here, there is a white stained plank in there, and I put a torch on top. Don't forget to light this up on the top. Luckily I noticed it early enough, and I didn't get any surprises. So now we have this, and now it's the point where we need to figure out where we're gonna read our setup, and I think we're gonna do it at this corner here. Yes, so we're gonna have to have... Let's see how we're gonna do this here. It's not exactly like I built it before. We don't need this one. This one right there is gonna be triggered from that redstone, right? Because right here, I'm gonna have to place the observer. Now, which way does it place? I placed it the correct way, okay. That little red thing here is the output, and over here is where it's reading it. And let me just show you guys here. Let's just put 2 redstone trails here for a second so I can demonstrate this. Just keep your eye on that redstone trail right there. If I place something in front of it, you saw it flashing for a second. If I break it, it flashes. And also when it changes the block state. So for example, going from sand to clay, it will also emit a signal. So how are we going to do this? The thing is that these up here cannot trigger until this is, should not trigger until this is actually the finished product, right? So let's go through this. Right now it's empty, right? So it's going to get a trigger one time. Hey, the block was placed. Now it changed, so it's number 2. Now it was broken. Now it's number 3. And then because this guy here goes into this block space, when it pulls back out, it gives it another pulse. So there's going to be 4 different times. We need to have a counter that counts to 4. And then it resets the counter. As you guys can see, we have already built a bunch of this marble here, and it's not really important. It's just the floor for all the redstone, and I've been recording on and off a lot of it. But I feel like I've been doing a really bad job explaining it, because there's 2 mechanics here that took me a while to figure out how they work in Minecraft when it comes to redstone. And I thought I'm gonna split out 2 parts here separately for a second, explain them first, what they actually do, because then I think it will make a lot more sense when we put it into our entire contraption over here, and it makes it easier to understand. The first one is the repeater itself, okay? By default, the repeater repeats a redstone signal it gets for 1 to 4 ticks. 1, 2, 3, and 4, okay? So it turns on instantly when you give it a redstone signal, right? And then if I break this, it will keep it in memory for 1 tick. And a tick is a 20th of a second. So 20 ticks go into 1 real life second. So if I break this, it almost turns off instantly, right? But if I'm really fast, I can place the torch before it actually forgets that 1 tick. Okay, there I was too slow, obviously. But let's say we extend this to 3 ticks, which we're actually going to use in ours here. I have a little bit more time breaking this and placing it again. You guys see? I'm not really placing it absolute instantly. Still, if I'm a little bit too slow, it turns off again, okay? But I can consistently make this. And the second part I wanted to explain separately, how our actual counter is going to work, okay? And that is a mechanic in Minecraft that is where you can actually lock repeaters. That is something I have never used before. So that is very new to me. We're gonna put a trail right here and all the way to here. So now what's gonna happen is if I give this a redstone signal, you guys see all of these repeaters here locked because they're getting a redstone signal of 15 from the side from these repeaters. Okay? And every time one of them turns off. So if I'm really fast here, wait, hold on. My bad. I need to do it. I can actually turn this one off now and repeat it. This is, you just need to lock it one time, okay? So now if I'm fast and I break this and place it again, you saw I was too slow, okay? If it was only one tick, it would have only unlocked the first one because it did not get a redstone signal here. So now this one is off, and because I was too slow, let's go real fast. Okay, now you see we're up to 3. And now we're up to 4 and the whole thing is off. And then, of course, we can turn this on again by locking them like this. So this is how you lock these. So this is going to be our counter right here. Every time when this piston goes up, it's a very short pulse. The first one will turn off. It will unlock it. Then another one, the second, another one, the third, another one, the fourth. And now that it's off, we're going to trigger a redstone signal over here that resets this whole thing and actually triggers these guys to come down. Now we're going to install these 2 parts over here that we were just discussing. But first I'm going to have to put a repeater here that actually gets the signal from this observer. And this needs to be at least 2 ticks. 1 tick is not fast enough. It doesn't work. Okay. Then we need to put a piston here. And let me show you guys what I mean by it doesn't work. And we need to put a redstone torch right here. And put a block on the bottom of this. When I have this set to 1 tick, if I place a block here, you see it flashed, but it actually does not turn off this redstone lamp. If I set this to 2 ticks and I break it, it is long enough to disable the redstone torch so the piston comes back up. So that is why you need 2 ticks here. Now that one repeater that we were just talking about over here with the 3 ticks, that's the one that goes right here facing into this block, and we need to set it on 3 ticks. And that one is actually going to trigger this redstone torch. That is our redstone torch that needs to turn off when we have the counter run down, when the counter did 4. Okay, that's what needs to happen. And then over here is where we're going to set up our little counter, the one we just played with. Right there. You guys don't want to know how many times I've recorded this section so far. Because I kept messing something up or it didn't explain it properly. Hopefully this is the take. Now, important on these 4 repeaters here is that these 3 right here need to be 2 ticks. This first one doesn't, so I'm not going to turn it on. And that is only, otherwise you will turn 2 off at a time instead of just 1. I don't know why. That's just the way it is. It's weird. And now that we connect all of this to here, you guys see this turned on and it actually triggered everything. Everything is set up now. So now these 4 are locked repeaters, 1 tick and 3 times 2 tick, and right there. And now when this piston goes up for a split second for 1 tick, it's enough to turn these off. So this one turns off, and then again this one, and then again this one, and then again this one, and then everything resets again. Let me show you guys. I made a button right there. Oh, I gotta put one more torch. This torch is not needed for normal purposes, but when you use a button, you need to use a torch up here. I'm gonna leave it here because sometimes I might have to adjust the... Something gets out of whack, right? And I need to reset this over here pretty much. So if I, by default, buttons do, I think, half a second for the stone and a whole second for the wooden button. Something like that. They stay pressed in, right? So that's way too long. I just need 1 tick, and that's what this torch up here is for. So now when I press this button 1 time, you guys see this triggered here real fast, and it turned 1 off. Do it again, 2, do it again, 3, and this one here always stays on, this repeater. You guys see that, right? Until now, when I turn this off. Now this one will turn off, which turns this one off, which turns the torch on, and then everything resets again. You guys saw that? That's pretty cool. I was really happy when I figured that one out, let me tell you. Now that we get this redstone signal here that resets our counter, that is not enough. I don't just want to reset the counter. I actually need to break the blocks and place the next ones, right? So now we're going to split this signal up. And for now, I'm going to run into 5 repeaters here. A reason being is that from the moment this triggers over here, I want to have a nice delay. Because it could happen that some of these blocks over here do not turn at the same moment, okay? It's very unlikely, but I ran into the problem, excuse me, hiccups, that when a world save happens or something like that, it could happen. So I'm going to set up 5 repeaters here. That's probably overkill, but it doesn't really matter as long as this works smoothly. All on 4 ticks. Okay, so now we have an entire second delay before this redstone signal gets through here, and we're going to trigger this block, which then goes up into our block breaker. And this is long enough, the signal here, that all 8 of them are triggered. They're going to come down and break the blocks. And then shortly after that, of course, we need to come over here and have another delay, because I cannot have the placing of the blocks happen at the same time than the breaking of the blocks, because then they're just going to mess up, right? So I'm going to put another, I don't know yet how many. For right now, I'm going to put 4. So there would be another 16 ticks, but we can also put one up here and set that to longer as well. And this one here triggers the block. Don't forget, that turns off this torch. It was over here first, but I needed the room to run this around. I forgot about that. So now it's on, and when all this triggers after another second, because we have 5 on 4 ticks, then the blocks get, this turns off, and then right away on again shortly after. Right? And then the blocks get placed. So that is how that works. Now let's test this here. We can use a regular... I can't. I'm going to have to go grab my crystal now, so we can actually start testing this. How you doing, sir? Get out of here. I'm going to use this one right here. I'm going to leave my Lincoln tool. But boo. Where is it? There it is. Let's put that here and that there. And I should be able to place that. Should I put it up here or one down? Oh boy. Room. I need to get in here somehow. I'm gonna come back from over here. Yes, good. I think I am going to place them down here. I like it better there. I got rid of all my planks. Let's place it right there. Yes. And for right now, I'm just going to break this a second so I can actually link this all up without the thing here triggering and messing everything up. So from you to you, all 8 of these. Oh, I keep clicking on the crystal. I forgot I don't need to do that. This is not Botania. So do I have them all? I think I do. Okay, so now we can take this off. So now this should all be linked, and we can break these. Okay. Already. Okay, now, let me explain something over here. This is the starting position that we actually want. Okay, even though we count to 4, I want everything here to be triggered after these 2 run out. Reason being, right now we're at a stage that when I place the sand, I get 1 signal. I gotta place this one again. I get a signal, so it's down to 1, and then when it turns, it's down to 0. And then it breaks it. Well, at first it resets it over here, but then it breaks it. It takes off 1 counter, and then this one retracts, and it takes off another counter. So there's a counter of 4, but this is the starting position that we want with 2. Okay, and I think we're just going to give this a try now because I'm very excited about it when this is finally done. So let's, I don't have any more sand, but I can show you guys something else that I will explain to you why I made it at the end of the episode. Wow, how you guys doing down here? It's a death trap down here. I added a vacuum, item vacuum from Embers right here that goes into this drawer for sand as well as aquamarine. And then up here I have another drawer because I need a lot of sandstone for slabs. Okay, and like I said, I'll explain to you in a minute why we need that, or at the end of the episode. But this is where I get my sand now. And hopefully everything is fine. Now, the only thing that we're going to have to do here, first of all, is whenever you load a new item in here, okay, you need to make sure that all 8 of these have something first before you do it. And on top of that, can I click on the transfer node back here somehow? If I come from over here. Oh boy. Hmm. It would have been nice to be able to click on that. But right now, let's check here. Every one of these should have 1 sand. Yes. And I just want to make sure there's plenty more in the node already before I trigger this. But it will never trigger until I'm going to make a second button. I don't want to take that button off. We're going to make another one. That was this. And I have redstone on me. Let's go ahead. Actually, it's on top. And this is on the bottom. We need to turn this off over here one time, right? So we're going to put our reset button right there. So I'm going to manually turn this off, and then it's going to place the sand. And we're just going to give this a go now, and hopefully everything works. I should have probably just put 8 in there, not 64, to make sure nothing goes wrong. So now we're down to 1 counter over here. As you guys can see, let me take off my magnet so we can also test if this works. There we go. It turned. It triggered the piston. And there we go. With the delay, it broke all the clay. And it already placed the sand again. Now, I noticed one thing, by the way. Where is the clay? What's happening here? Okay, something got messed up here. Now, I wonder if I... Oh, how do I see these guys? Oh, man. There's no way of me getting there. I have a feeling that these did not trigger properly. It should have definitely broken the top first before it placed them again. But like I said, I have a feeling that the... Yeah, it picked them up here, but I don't know if it picked them up there. So there's something wrong with our timing here. So first off, I'm going to take all this sand back. Oh, man. I'll break this guy. Take out this sand. Place this one again. And I am going to get this clay out. So that means I'm going to have to somehow get to all of these right now. Okay, let's go ahead and trigger this one more time. And let's keep an eye on this over here. Wait, what? I didn't see these... I didn't see these come down at all. We're gonna have to fix this. But what? What is happening here? Okay. That's not good. I'm not sure. Something is going on up here. Why are these not triggering when there is a block? Let's get a redstone torch here. What? These cannot break a block anymore? I have no idea what's happening here. Alright, I've been wrecking my brains about this. I also went into my testing world. It doesn't work there anymore either, so it definitely was an update. I don't know if it was on... I'm guessing on Quark, because this rod is from Quark. And it's very weird. Okay, it is super weird. Actually, there's one more test I can do with you guys. When you check over here, if I have a marble block here, or any block, it doesn't matter, and I put it on here, and it's just like that. Yeah, I need my... I can just use a torch. I don't need to get the lever. And I put this on here and do it. It breaks it. No problem. Even though there's a solid block underneath it, right? Over here... this is... I don't understand it. If I put a marble block here and a marble on top, and I flip this, it doesn't do anything. right? If I have an air block underneath it, it does it, which doesn't help us because we need to dispense this, right? I guess now the other test I wanted to do here real quick is put this dispenser down here. Like that, and place it. Okay, I what? What is happening? So, okay, I did some further testing, and I found out that it was actually the obsidian that was down here, okay? So what happens here is, and I don't know why quark worked before, but now it doesn't, but it's just the way it is. The piston is trying to push this rod. There's a block underneath that, a dispenser underneath that, a cable underneath that, and then there was obsidian, and the obsidian was immovable, right? An immovable object. So the piston could not extend. That's what caused this. But now that the piston is gone, the obsidian is gone, the piston can extend, and then the block knows, hey, don't push the block, but break it. And that's what happens here. So now this actually works, okay? And I moved the crate down here so the node is central. And also it allows me to come down here and check the dispensers themselves. If in case I have some mess up again, right, I can get there. So it's a little bit better this way. But the problem I'm having now is, and I'm going to show you guys that right now. Yes, let me, oh, I already have it in my hands. Let me come up here and place this repeater again on 2 ticks. The problem I'm running into now is that the clay turns too fast for this node to be able to fill one in each one of the dispensers. So we're going to go ahead and we need to trigger this a couple times. Just so we're back on normal, so it breaks this, and then we can actually watch this. And I also took my magnet off because I want you guys to see there's only 24 in here. Okay, 24 clay balls. Because when you do it by hand, you get 4 clay per. Okay, but if you use these rods, you only get 3 clay balls per. You see 24 again instead of 32. And now I think it's out of whack. No, it's not out of whack yet because it's day. If it was night, this would get out of whack because it turns it faster than during the day. So what I'm going to need to do is actually give this a little bit longer delay that there is already here. I had to figure out a different way than instead of just adding more and more repeaters, right? That's what we could have done to make a longer delay. And I took a recommendation from Smasher. He said make a timer. And I did not think that we could actually make this because it's from RF Tools, but it needs a machine base, and the machine base we can craft. So I'm glad that we can make this here. And that lets me set up, you know, ever many seconds I want to delay, right? So I can just delay it on the go pretty much. If I need longer, I can extend it and so on. But the thing is, how this works, in case you're not familiar with it, is if you put it down and you give it a redstone, or this is the X output, by the way, the orange arrow, you guys see it just triggered here, and it's currently set to 100 ticks. 20 ticks is a second. And it will just keep going, right, over and over. Well, the problem is if I put this in here, it will trigger this every 5 seconds right now, right? But I only want it to trigger after 5 seconds once this triggers it. So I need to set up a T flip-flop. Also, by the way, I didn't mention that. If you put a lever back here and give it redstone, it stops it when you check this right here. It pauses it. And then when we take the redstone signal off again, after 5 seconds, we're going to see the redstone come back out here. Come on, there it is. So that is how this works. That's why it will work for our purposes here. I just needed to put in a... I just need this timer to be disabled by default via the redstone signal, and only for one time be turned off, and then after 5 seconds give the redstone signal and then disable itself again, okay? So how we're gonna do that here is, I want to make sure that this is a different circle here, or different redstone. So I'm gonna put in a repeater that's gonna trigger a dropper right here, and this is a T flip-flop that I've been using a lot. We need to put on a dropper facing this way. You see the hole right there. Then we need a dropper facing upwards, and we need a dropper facing towards us. Actually, sorry, I don't want it here. Come back to me. I want it to be Hold on a second here. Okay, this needs to be the other way around. My bad. Hold on. I need this one facing upwards. I need this one facing towards me. And then I need to face this one here into there. So it's a circle right now, right? And then on top of this, we're going to put the hopper like that. So now if I put an item in here, it will go down into here. If I give it redstone, it will go over here, over there, and then back into here. And that is what this one is going to trigger right here. And I can show this real quick if I put an item in here. Okay. And then in front of this, we're going to put a repeat comparator. Because we need to read if there's an item in this one, right? So this one is off right now. Now, if I give this a redstone signal, quickly, you see now it's on because the item is sitting in this dropper. If I give it a redstone signal again, it turns it off again. So this is what you consider a T flip-flop because this item now sits in here. And every time I give it a redstone signal, it will go into up to here, into the hopper and down, and then sit here, trigger this. If I give it a redstone signal again, it will go sit in this one. So that's how this works. And then here, we're actually going to put our timer right there with 5 seconds, which now, of course, is going to pulse over and over, right? So I'm going to have to set this into its starting position first. That's its starting position right here. And now we're going to have this repeater right here. I'm not going to put on because I don't want to trigger this yet. But here we're going to have the redstone. And yeah, this can just go back here into another repeater that triggers it from the other side, right? So now I can show you what actually is supposed to happen. So it gets a redstone signal, it turns it off. Then after 5 seconds, it will trigger this whole line over here. But it will also trigger the one back here to turn it back off. So that is what I had to figure out over here. So now I believe we have everything we need. This is in the starting position. And then this, actually, no, I need the repeater here. That's what we wanted. I'm going to give it a 2 pulse. 2 tick. And this delay over here, I just leave on repeaters because this one always is just going to be altogether 1 second after I break it. Go place the next blocks here. All right. So now that we have everything hopefully finally done, this is all loaded with sand. I'm just gonna have to, I'm up here, place this guy again, and get it all going. So let me just get this right there. So go ahead and, yes, no, not this one over here. I need to trigger once. So now I placed all 8 sand. Now I wonder if I'm gonna need to relink them again. I noticed that earlier. Yeah, it seems to that, not sure what's going on when the chunks get unloaded or loaded. Oh no, it did turn. Okay, let me get out of here so I don't pick up the sand. And it worked. But it was still too slow. This is the what I'm considering being out of whack. It is now the next day. Yesterday I got very frustrated because something with our counter was out of line as well, and it took me forever to figure that out. And then on top of that, and hopefully you guys will not notice on the last clip before this, my audio got unsynced from my image, from my picture, which has never happened to me before. I have no idea how that even happened. So I just had a really bad recording day because everything went wrong that can go wrong. So I slept on it and then this morning fixed everything that needed to be fixed. It is now fully working. You can have a hiccup and stuff when you log out and log back in while this machine is still running. So that is something to keep in mind if you don't keep your chunks loaded. If you keep them loaded, you shouldn't have any problem. I don't have my chunks loaded right now because you guys remember when this didn't break the block, I thought it maybe had something to do with grief prevention, right? From FTB Utilities, but it does not have anything to do with it. We figured out it was the obsidian. But the machine is now running. It's been running for quite a lot of cycles. I just put in 3 fresh stacks of sand. So I have something to show you guys here for the recording. So number 1 is, over here is, you guys see we're down to 3 ticks. And the reason for that is that because of the change to the redstone that I did over here compared to my testing world is, that this piston here extends, you guys saw, very fast. It's like 1 tick, right? That's all it is. Maybe 2 ticks. So it used to count the rod retracting as the 4th one, okay? You guys remember that in the beginning I explained that. Placing it as 1, turning is 2, breaking was 3, and then retracting this rod was 4. But when you look over here, when it breaks it, and it will only light this up 1 time by the time the rod is retracted. It should happen here very shortly, once the delay is done. And it breaks it. There we go. You guys see, it only turned on 1 time. So now we only need to have 3 of these over here. And again, I have them all 3 on 2 ticks, so that works. The other thing over here is with the timer, I went all the way up to 15 seconds, 300 ticks. Because this node down here is the dumbest thing in the history of transfer. Okay, you guys see here, it searches a block every, I don't know, a little bit between half a second and 1 second. One of these numbers goes up, right? But because this down here is one big mesh, I think it can happen that it just randomly searches. So it might randomly search in the same direction multiple times before it actually finds an empty one. And that is what I believe happened here with this. So once we have speed upgrades down there, then we can definitely either completely get rid of this, because it's going to be so fast distributing the items, or just we can lower it dramatically or drastically, right? So those are all the things that I had to figure out here with the timing and so on. And back here on these, on the back side and on this side, I put on glass. So nothing can fall off the island when it gets broken, just in case. I haven't noticed anything falling off, but I just wanted to make sure nothing can. And if anything falls over here, the Hopper Hawk can still reach it, right? And there we go. We already have a bunch of clay balls. So I hope that you guys can follow this, and I see some of you actually rebuilding this, because I'm loving it. I'm still having a lot of fun figuring this out, okay? The frustration... Did I just see 1 clay missing in the back corner there? You gotta be kidding me. Now it has 15 seconds. Okay, this time everything is here. See, if the back corners and so on get missed, it's not bad. But the problem is that if the front one here gets missed, I'm telling you, I'm at the point where I'm just gonna get rid of these down here and just place everything manually into these dispensers. I think that would be the easiest. Everything is placed right now. I should really make myself a platform here so I can look on this, right? That would make a lot of sense. But anyways, the machine is working. It certainly needs a tweak with the item distribution down there. If you guys have any idea or any recommendation on how I can make this better, please let me know down in the comments. I would really appreciate it. I think that right there, if I can fix or figure out how to make this so it goes... I know that we can... Does this thing here work as a wrench? No, it does not. Give me that one. Let's check if we can see if we can make a certain way down here. I want you to stop. That's the easiest way to stop this down here. So if we come out from the middle, go here and then in a circle around. Let's see if we can do that here. So that means never go that way. And so we're gonna have that on all 3 of these. Aha! So now it's disconnected and there. So I always wanted to go over here first. So if I put it like that. So that means it will come out here to this one and go in that direction 1 time around it. And then stop. So if I click here, it will disconnect that. That's actually not bad. So it always needs to search the same direction. I don't know if that makes it slower now, because it actually needs to go the entire circle, or if it is actually better for it. I cannot tell you. But I'm gonna leave it like that and let you know next episode then if that make any difference. And I'm also gonna wait for you guys' comment if you have any other ideas on how to fix it. So that would work. Anyways, I really want to wrap up this episode. So now that this is done, we are going to need to trigger this so it actually breaks them. There we go. Now after 15 seconds, it's gonna break this and then refill it and so on. And like I said, I'm gonna let you know next time. The only problem is I do need to chunk load this now before I leave. So we're gonna just take these two and chunk load them real quick. I have no idea why this is all red. What's happening? I don't know. That means wilderness, I guess. Okay, so these two are chunk loaded. That's all I wanted. Where is the chunk boundary actually? Okay, so perfect. It's in these two chunks. Alright, because I did tell you a little while ago that I'm going to show you guys something that had to do why I set up all this sand over here. The sand generator changes that I made over there to get all the sandstone slabs. And that has to do with the Nether. I went nuts over there. 2 nights, I played quite a lot of hours. It took me at least 6 hours to do this, at minimum. Probably a little bit longer. I watched a lot of YouTube videos and Netflix and so on. Up here, nothing changed, but when you come out here now, you see there is a lot of sandstone slabs. Every surface that is on top, I covered, besides the actual walkways here. Okay, because I did not want to have things spawn on here. I wanted to have, I gotta be careful, I don't have fire resist potion on me, and I got hit in the back. Nice. And there's a couple things I still want to do, but it's gonna just take time, and that is, ooh, don't knock me off. It's so dangerous. And that is, I would like to put a roof on all these walkways and everywhere. So the blazes that spawn on here cannot fly out and do what they just do, shoot me. I want to have everything compacted in these hallways, okay? And inside the fortress. You guys see how many there are now, the wither skeletons. It's really tough being down there now. So I have a lot of these 2 high block dividers, so I can always get away from them. But the blazes are the biggest problem. But unfortunately, fortunately, I have endless arrows from my farm, so I can shoot them down usually. So that's definitely something I still want to do here. I just want to use this nether fortress. And the other thing, I don't think I just showed when I left. On the inside of the fortress, I didn't change much. I just made a couple safe rooms and stuff because I needed them because of the blazes. Sometimes I just needed to regen my health. And that is also why I have toughness and resistance, because I've been eating so much being down there recovering my life, right, that everything was actually higher. These were all in the 90s. Vegetable and dairy, I gotta catch up again. But I picked up the 2 blaze spawners with the drop of evil that we got last episode, right? I just right-clicked them and picked them up so we could actually maybe make a mob farm out of them if we ever need to, okay? I'm not sure. We can get blaze rods really easy, but it's possible. Anyways, that is it for today. I'm happy that this finally works. Let's see. It's out of whack. Because this is on 3, but it is... Oh, it was just waiting for the timer. Woohoo! It wasn't. It's working. Yay! Alright, guys. That is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. And until next time, take care, stay safe, and bye-bye.